Yankees Hal Steinbrenner reached his tipping point after demolition by ex-Yankee Jameson Taillon. Reported today by Jon Heyman of the New York Post, the Yankees were demolished by Jameson Taillon a couple weeks ago, and Jameson Taillon, if you didn't know, is 31 years old and currently has a 6.05 ERA across 77.1 innings this year. Now, the Yankees decided we're going to go give the money to Aaron Judge, we're going to give the money to Carlos Rodon, looking at 9-year, $360 million deal for Judge, and a 6-year, $162 million deal for Carlos Rodon. And you look at what they decided to let go, a pretty player in Jameson Taillon, who is now struggling with the Chicago Cubs. He signed a 4-year, $68 million deal. But on July 7th, he turned into prime Randy Johnson, and he ended up blanking the Yankees over 8 innings, and Hal Steinbrenner, owner of the Yankees, decided that was the point in which we cannot continue forward without potential changes. And he had a say in essentially getting rid of Dylan Lawson. The Yankees go out and they hire Sean Casey, who's Aaron Boone's good friend from his days with the Cincinnati Reds. And we ask ourselves, why is it that Jameson Taillon beating the crap out of the Yankees, the turning point for the Bombers in 2023? Why is that the tipping point for Hal Steinbrenner, despite the fact that we've rolled with Josh Donaldson and we've survived and suffered through a lot of different offense since then? We have been swept by the Angels. We haven't particularly played well against a bottoming Colorado Rockies team. And now we have a really bad Kansas City Royals team coming to the Bronx, and the Yankees have about a week and a half to showcase some potential so that Brian Cashman isn't forced to sell at the trade deadline. Now we ask ourselves, is that kind of the end-all be-all? You hope for Judge to get back, you add a couple bats at the deadline, and suddenly the Yankees are back on track and helping to, put together a winning season. I think that that's ultimately what Cashman has in his mind. We can get into the last playoff spot. Right now, the 4 games behind in the wild card. If you add some pieces, get Judge back, we can make a run in August and September, sneak into the postseason, and hopefully make some noise. That's ultimately the goal. But if the Yankees keep losing and they dig themselves too deep of a hole to get out of, you may have no choice but to sell. You're looking at Harrison Bader, Gleyber Torres. You're looking at Domingo Germán, Luis Severino, Anthony Rizzo. All of these guys are capable of being sold at the deadline for prospects, or at least some major league talent that may have a little bit more upside, depending on the value. But Jon Heyman said specifically that the team doesn't really know if they're going to be sellers or buyers just yet. They need more time to see. Andy Martino of SNY is suggesting that they could sell on some of these veterans, and some executives are actually wondering why the Yankees aren't selling. They should be selling, but the truth is Cashman's not going to go down without a fight. And with that being said, we should expect some moves in the buying direction at the deadline. But I will say this right now, we need to have 2024 in the fold. We need to be thinking about the future. This cannot be a rental move that ends up becoming nothing, essentially. Cody Bellinger, if you're going to bring him in, got to extend him. Dylan Carlson of the St. Louis Cardinals, you got to bring him in. He's available until 2027. They have control over the guy. Brendan Donovan, we heard about him yesterday. Really interesting. Unlikely they go and acquire him. 2029, they have control over him. Those are the type of moves that you can buy and actually prepare for the future. The Yankees have a lot of work to do over the next couple of weeks, but one thing is for sure, they need to make some moves, because right now they're nowhere close to being a playoff caliber team.